Green Bay Packers have failed Aaron Rodgers. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It is great to be here with all of you today, the Monday after Championship Sunday. Do we have a lot of sports news to go over with all of you today? We have two big Sixers wins over the weekend. Joel Embiid putting up MVP numbers. We'll get into that in a little bit. We have a lot to go over in the NFL today. It is 11:32 here on the East Coast. It is the 25th of January. 1 year ago today, LeBron James passing Kobe Bryant on the all-time scoring list. Tomorrow, join our show. We're going to be breaking down a lot about the great life of Kobe Bryant. Unfortunately, tomorrow is 1 year since the tragic helicopter crash. We'll get into it all tomorrow, dedicate the whole day to that. Of course, we always like to pay attention to the positives in his life, what he left, and his legacy. And we'll both have some interesting takes on that. We hope you stay tuned for that. I know it's a relatively sad topic, losing one of the greats, but we have to make sure that we prioritize what we can control. And in my opinion, that's one thing, motivating people, inspiring, and celebrating the great life of Kobe Bryant. But again, that's tomorrow. Stay tuned for it. If you may be able to tell, I'm supercharged today. I just crunched out a 500-plus word essay in 20 minutes time. Gavin, you did as well. So, look, it's Monday. For the first time in a while, I got some great energy this morning, probably because I didn't have to get up early for a class. But, Gavin, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Zach, listen, for those who may not know, we had the same schedule, right? We had to wake up early at all. Okay, I feel good too. Zach, I'm a little bit mad this morning, but we're going to get into that in just a second. But yeah, no, I had a great weekend, Zach. Championship Sunday kind of went what I wanted to. Almost, it could be better. All in all, Zach, we did crunch out 500. That's 1,000 words between the both of us. And yes, sadly, tomorrow is the 1 year passing. Zach, I have a surprise for everybody tomorrow, so you don't want to miss out on that for sure. And one more thing, Zach. I never mind. I'll save it. I'll save that. But how you doing?
I'm doing good. Look, long weekend for the sports world. Able to watch some good games. Sixers best record in the East. They have a 2-game lead over both the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Of course, a big win Friday, a relatively close, but a win indeed against the Pistons, coming off a back-to-back. Embiid, 30-plus points in 3 straight games, including a 40-plus point game as well. He's putting up great numbers. Ben Simmons, 20 points against the Pistons. He had, I think, 11 in the fourth quarter against Boston, and then 20 in that whole game. This might be a stepping stone. This might be the start of something great. He's starting to look like his former self when he was scoring, also shooting a career-high free throw percentage for those who want to be critical of him. But we're going to start today's show a little different. Look,
we'll talk about that three-pointer, right, Zach?
We're not going to talk about the air balls, but you know what? I'll do the same thing, so in his defense. But look, yeah, I've been very critical of the Packers all year. Top down, most of that run defense, which actually kind of was pretty good yesterday. I did not break down the running statistics. They did have one big run breakout, unfortunately, by Leonard Fournette. I'll be honest with you. It's not like the Packers went 11-5 and they got to go on the road and they don't have any first round. They were 13-3, first round bye in Lambeau. Beat up the energy, took all the energy out of the Rams, and then lost yesterday to the Buccaneers. Yes, I called that as well. The Buccaneers are hosting the Super Bowl. I'm curious to see what kind of adjustments the NFL has to make in order to keep it unbiased. They do get the home locker room, but I think that if you're the NFL, you're going to have to keep it neutral, which I assume they already were going to do, strip all of their regular stuff that they would have as a home team advantage. But other than that, yeah, that's exciting. If you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I happen to know a few, of course. For the rest of the NFL fans, we're like, dang it, Tom Brady's back in the Super Bowl. But look, I'm sad today for Packers fans. I've had an opportunity to go to Lambeau Field. Packers fans are amazing people. The Packers are a good team this year, of course. And Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league, is a bad man. I said before the season, they were in way too many one-possession games last year. There's no way they repeat the success this year. The only thing I didn't factor in was Aaron Rodgers playing at an MVP level.
Say that again.
Wrong.
Say that again. I've been saying all year.
He played at an MVP level. Look, I said this before, and I'll admit it when I'm wrong, because you have to admit when the Lakers win and you're wrong. But look, we all have our good takes. We all have our good takes. We all have our bad takes. As we hold ourselves accountable with our good takes, we're going to hold ourselves accountable with the bad takes. The one factor I didn't look at when analyzing the statistics is they have this bad man in Aaron Rodgers, all right, who played extremely well last year. They fell short in the playoffs last year, and this year they repeat the same success, and they fall short in the same game, except this time it's at home. Aaron Rodgers should leave Green Bay. After last season, people were saying he should leave Green Bay. He should leave now, all right? Because in the first round, and listen, I'm not going to act like he doesn't have any weapons this year. He has the best wide receiver in Devontae Adams, who he created pretty much, let's be honest. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is pretty good. They have a couple good guys on that team. Look, are they all elite complimentary? No, but most teams don't have that, all right? You have Aaron Jones, you have Jamal Williams, and you have A.J. Dillon now. You have a good backfield. The O-line is good. And the defense is pretty good. Why can't they rise to the occasion in certain situations? Why can't they get over that hump? It's only year 2 with the coach. I get it. But your quarterback is getting old. He's not going to play at the MVP level every single year. All right? And there were 2 things I said before this season. I said you need to build this defense and give Aaron Rodgers some more help. And it doesn't just mean offensively. It means take the pressure off of him. All right? That's the first part. And he needs to do his part as a leader on the team. Again, and we said this about Kyrie Irving, unless we know the guy personally, it is bad to be able to judge them in the way that we have. But there are rumors. And the difference between him and Tom Brady, look, Tom Brady had 3 picks yesterday. No one's going to defend that play. But listen, Brady is different in the way that he leads. Brady's different. Bruce Arians said this yesterday. He's like, I tell the guys, hey, you got to do this on your route. They're like, all right, coach. And then Tom tells them, it's like, oh, yes, definitely. I'll do it right now. Tom Brady is a different animal. He was created by Belichick. So I don't want to hear any Bill versus Tom comparisons. That leader was created by Belichick, and he was a 6th-round bum out of Michigan until he was created by Bill Belichick. And no disrespect to him whatsoever. He's taken nothing but advantage of it. But listen, Aaron Rodgers and him, that's where they diverge. But on top of all that, in the first round this year, when you got Brandon Ayuk on the board, T. Higgins on the board, Patrick Queen on the board, you trade up and you take a quarterback out of Utah State. Jordan Love could have went to the Saints and been the starter next year. You're putting this poor kid in that situation? I mean, what? And then in the second round, you have KJ Hamler available. You have Chase Claypool available. You have Zach Bond out of Wisconsin available. You have Trayvon Diggs out of Alabama available. And you choose a running back? What is Green Bay doing? Their egos are too big to give the guy some help. Same thing with Seattle. It pisses me off about how these teams say, we're going to do nothing, and we're going to let our quarterback carry us. You can only carry so far. Tom Brady's never carried. He's always had a top 10 defense. He's always had a top 10 O-line. He's never had the best weapons, but they have the great schemes. All right? No one's helping out Aaron Rodgers here. I get it. He's got a great wide receiver. They got a great secondary. They got a great defensive front. Linebackers are a little suspicious. I'm not talking about the Smith brothers. They're pass rushers. They're not linebacker, like coverage linebackers. There's a difference between the outside linebacker and the authentic coverage tackle linebacker. All right? They have failed him in Green Bay. If I'm Rodgers, I want out. You draft my replacement. You draft at another deep position. Imagine if you had T. Higgins this year. Just imagine that with Devontae Adams. Because Adams got shut down a lot of last night. Most of his stats were late. All right? And that game became pretty close because Tom Brady let them back in the game. All right? But take a look at the Buccaneers. Tom, what do you want? First round pick. Who do you want? Tristan Wirfs. All right, let's get him. Tom, we're not going to take Antonio Brown. We don't want to take a risk on him. Tom, no, I want Antonio Brown.
Better yet, Zach, hold on.
Antonio Brown.
Better yet, hey, Pat Mahomes with the last pick. What do you want? Oh, I got it. You want Clyde Edwards-Helaire? We got him. Go on.
And no, I mean, this comment, I agree with that. That's the point I'm making. Leadership. There's a distinct difference. These guys, we talk about Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, and yes, there's some truth to guys play harder for certain people. I don't think guys necessarily play as hard for Aaron Rodgers. They don't. That's the truth. It doesn't make him a bad person. He just isn't cut from that kind of cloth to be able to lead in that way. And I said it before the season, and I'm still right about it. If I'm him, though, I want out. Because, hey, Aaron, who do you want? Oh, I see T. Higgins on the board, or Brandon Ayuk, who had that great move against the Eagles in the San Fran game, who had a good year as well. Now we're going to take Jordan Love. Second round, KJ Hamler's on the board. Chase Claypool's on the board. Now let's take A.J. Dillon, who does look pretty good, but you didn't need him. This Packers organization has failed. They had 3 once-in-a-generation quarterbacks. They pick the generational guy. Unlike Brett Favre, though, he doesn't have turnovers. He doesn't have off-the-field issues. And they failed him. Go to New England. Go get your ring, kid. Please. It's like Tom Brady. I knew that Tom was going to win. Tom doesn't really lose playoff games. All right, last year that team was so broken in New England that eventually everything was going to come to an end.
They ran into a freight train.
They ran into an amazing – just a team that just had them at the most perfect time. All right, Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. He will never go down as the GOAT because he can't be that leader type, but credit to him, his defense averages give you up 30 points per playoff game. How are you going to work with that? Every time, 30 points. Every year, like past 2 years, it's identical. Oh, this defense is so good this year. You got Kevin King. You got Zaire Alexander, the best cover corner according to Pro Football Focus. You got Adrian Amos, who came over from that great Bears team a few years ago. You got Darius Smith. You got Preston Smith. What's it matter in the playoffs? Last week, you looked pretty dang good. Devontae Adams even shut down Jalen Ramsey. But guess what? They played a stupid defense. Who runs man in the red zone? I mean, you're running around the field with him. You get cut off. Of course, Todd Bowles deserves the most credit for last night, the way that he out-schemed them.
Hell, deserves a job, too.
Gerald Ford kicked a field goal with 3 minutes to go, which at the time, I didn't necessarily see that being a bad decision. In hindsight, it was a horrible decision, but I don't know. I honestly liked it. With 3 timeouts left, your defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Again, it comes down to everything around him. If that team isn't committed to build around Aaron Rodgers should leave. The Buccaneers were committed to building around Tom Brady. The Patriots were committed to it the entire time he was there up until the end. And what's it lead to? 6 Super Bowl rings and 10 Super Bowl appearances, possibly a 7th on the way. Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs, same thing. Aaron Rodgers, as much as I've been critical of Green Bay, and the criticism continues and it's proven the truth, Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. They didn't treat him correctly. And frankly, the only big thing that matters when it comes to this situation, a lot of guys are like, well, you know what? These are just products. Like this is a company. These are my employees. But when your employees have this much, I've never seen a job, I've never seen a company, not Apple, not Microsoft, not anything, where an employee has this much pull. Look at Deshaun Watson. That can be a hit or miss for them this offseason. He gets to call the shots. And when you treat your employees in football like a black and white product with no emotion, it's going to cost you. And that's my case. Aaron Rodgers has been failed by Green Bay. On top of all of that, you take a look at Tom Brady. The Buccaneers said, what do you want? Because they know what he brings to the table. You can name any team right now. I'll tell you if they're going to be in the Super Bowl next year with Aaron Rodgers. New England, you get them another talent or two. Yes, they really should have.
Indiana.
Indianapolis would be perfect for him. All right, you take a look. I mean, the Jets, the Bengals, the Jags, obviously they would not be. But look, the O-line was great this year. There's a lot of supporting cast. But you're putting a lot of pressure on him. Same thing with Russell Wilson in Seattle. It ticks me off. How disrespectful can you be to your guys? I get it. You're paying him a lot of money. But you know the risk. You gave him the contract, right? He didn't say, all right, take Patrick Mahomes, 10-year, $500 million. Like, no, you said we're going to commit to you, but you still have to build around him. They ran it back. They had on their big poster last night in Arrowhead, run it back with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. I know Sammy Watkins was hurt last night, but Mecole Hardman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is there now. All right, like this is ridiculous. The inability, the non-wanted, if that's even a word. I'm inventing words now. We did that in English last week. The non-wantitude of wanting to build around your quarterback. I get it. Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. All right, in this comment, it's only Julio's the top 5 wideout that I remember went to a Super Bowl. That's not how you win. All right? That's not how you win. You don't win by having the expensive big 3. You win by having a lot of role pieces. And they couldn't rise to the occasion. Aaron Rodgers missed some throws yesterday, but he was forcing the ball to Devontae Adams. If you had another receiver, maybe so. The bottom line is not committed to him winning championships. All right? They have Jordan Love ready whenever. I mean, he looked pretty pro-ready last year for those who remember the draft and looking at him as a potential replacement for the Saints. I think at the end of the day, that franchise, as much as historic as it is, has lost its feel and is not committed to surrounding Aaron Rodgers with the right pieces. They're looking at the future when the opportunity is right in front of them.
Zach, you know what makes yesterday's game harder to watch and harder to digest? Me being an Aaron Rodgers guy. Zach, I like Aaron Rodgers. I've been defending him all year long. I said it. I want to say what? I said it, 5 weeks ago? I said Aaron Rodgers doesn't have talent around him except for one person and a running back that's a hit or miss some days. Zach, Aaron Jones is phenomenal some days, not all the time. But let's call it what it is. Zach, you point out the run defense, and you're right. The Colts, they ran the ball in the throats yesterday. It looked pretty good. Zach, they only let one phenomenal touchdown run from Leonard Fournette, which I don't think there's nothing you can do about after he bounces the outside. But Zach, what makes Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady different? Who do they have around each other? Zach,
before you from the front office perspective, who is more committed to what that player wants? What does he want?
Well, think about it. Tom Brady goes, and there's Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, who people forgot about because he injured himself. You have Chris Godwin, who's phenomenal, and then you have Shelby, the Miller guy that miraculously got my Scotty Miller. So,
and great defense too.
And great defense. Great defense that was up and coming. Todd Bowles deserves another chance as a head coaching job, Zach. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But then you think about when Tom got there, what did they do? All right, Tom, we're going to get you a tackle for your offensive line. Don't worry about that. We know you need an offensive line. What do you want? I want Rob Gronkowski. They make the call. Rob's there. What else do you want? Antonio Brown deserves another chance. Zach, you know how I feel about that. I mean, he looks like a clown, but you know what? Everybody deserves.
I'm not going to call it redemption yet, but he's kept the locker room issues quiet right now, which is hopefully he got the help that he needed, and hopefully he continues to improve and develop because he's always been one of the most talented receivers in the league.
Exactly. So what do? You go out and get him Antonio Brown. What else? All right. So now let's go back to the offseason. All right. Ronald Jones, that's cool. What else should we get? All right, let's get Leonard Fournette in here. Why not? He just got released. Let's get Leonard Fournette. Anything else? Oh, yeah, we'll get LaShawn McCoy, even though he doesn't play, but he was here a couple times. Zach, they got him, what, 5 pieces on the offensive
More than that. I mean, they re-signed the Ndamukong Suh, who was back last night. Vita Vea has been good on that defense. JPP's been there for a little bit. He's been a huge piece for that team. Antoine Winfield Jr. out of Minnesota, who unfortunately was hurt last night.
Bunting came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he had a great game. And I know there was a call on that, but I don't think that makes a big difference. He jumped that route.
Shaquille Barrett, Devin White. I don't know. And then let's go to Green Bay. Devonta Adams, that's great. Who is Marquez Valdez-Scantling? Zach, and here's one thing that makes me mad because I was fond of this guy, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, all right? He dropped a pass. Zach, I understand you're laying out, you're trying to get it, but once the ball hits your hands, you have to catch it, especially in the NFL, right? So then, if you want to get technical, Zach, there was a couple plays last night where Aaron Rodgers was forcing the ball a little bit to Devonta Adams. Zach, remember the play? It was a 13-play drive. They go all the way down the field. They give the ball.
They targeted him 3 times.
3 times in the end zone. And that last one where the ball, even though he was open, the ball still out of bounds. Scanlon was open. He was open. So where do you go from there? Okay, I get that. So the run game was non-existent yesterday. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I didn't know Aaron Jones was playing. He fumbled the ball. That's the only notable thing I remember him doing was fumbling. That's it. That's pretty much it.
They had 16 carries yesterday. Average like 4 yards a carry total. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but the game ran very quickly. It was 28. It was 28-10 at one point.
It wasn't notable. Zach, another thing too. You talk about this defense. I like the secondary. I like Savage. I like Amos. All right. I'm not fond of Jair Alexander, but he's good. He gets the job done. Oh my gosh, Kevin King. You get beat by Scotty Miller with 1 second. Zach,
that was a gutsy play call and a beautiful execution.
That was a great throw and everything. Bad defense. Zach, you got one job. One job. Read the scouting report. You know what's coming. Zach, do you know anybody in that time was like, screw it, I'm going to just throw it up. It was what, 4th down? You're just going to chuck it up? All right.
It was a perfect ball. It was a perfect ball.
And then, Zach, a clear as day pass interference. Zach, for crying out loud, you might as well take the man's shirt off. That's how bad you're going to pull it. You're going to rip it. Zach, I don't get it. I get people have bad days, but I've never seen someone have a horrible day than he did yesterday. You can't make that up. And Matt LaFleur, Zach, Matt LaFleur thought he was going to get, he said, well, I thought we were going to get another chance. Zach, if you know your defense isn't that great, regardless of what they were doing at the moment, Zach, Tom Brady was giving him the game back. He tried his hardest to, especially when he threw the ball in the double coverage. He said Matt LaFleur thought that we had another chance. Zach, there was no way in hell you're going to get the ball back. And one more thing before we move on. Aaron Rodgers in the postgame, he said that wasn't my decision. Aaron Rodgers, you're playing an MVP caliber level. You used to go beyond Mike McCarthy's wishes. Why didn't you do it yesterday? Why didn't you do it yesterday when it mattered the most? Also, Zach, there was this play, 3rd and goal, before the field goal. How many times have we seen Aaron Rodgers take off and run? Now, regardless, I understand, my dad brought a point that, number 90 on the defense was going to kill him because of the angle that he was taking. But it's like, we're seeing Aaron Rodgers take off like that. It's not about scoring. It's about getting yourself in a better position.
It's about winning, honestly. I mean, I would have taken that hit any day. Exactly. If you want to win bad enough. And that, I don't want to question his mentality to win. But it's like when Aaron Rodgers fumble. Like, obviously, you want to win the Super Bowl, but like, at the moment, you just didn't think that. He thought he could win it with his arm. He forced the ball to Adams on a drag, and it did not complete on it. They would have crossed the goal line if he caught it. But look, to wrap this up, from Rodgers, I went out. When you're that old of a quarterback and that much of a veteran, when you're older than your head coach, I mean, you should have some sort of conversation about, hey, let's go for it here. At the moment, I mean, I understood it. 3 minutes left. But again, like you just pointed out, Gavin, the defense couldn't really stop them at some points. But the big thing, I got two things before we go on to the next game, and then we'll continue with our conversation on the NFL. 3 turnovers, 6 points. It's no one's fault but their own. Of course, you can get more talent on the offense. I mean, it all boils over at some point. Again, of course, Rodgers didn't look perfect yesterday, but when you have the pressure on you all season, at some point you will collapse. And we saw that with Russell Wilson in the second half of the year. So, yeah, Rodgers is part of the reason they lost yesterday, a pretty significant reason. But it's because everything fell down around him and he was keeping everything up. They're nothing without him on that team. I'm sorry. They're not. The Buccaneers aren't either. But finally, Tom Brady, as much as he's not glorified in some reasons with scandals or whatever, or being part of that Patriots dynasty, he was bouncy yesterday. He looked mobile. He was moving around, navigating the pocket, which he's always done. We call him a statue, but he really knows how to move around. He had 3 picks. The reason that they weren't so severe, the defense did well. They were arm punts, a lot of them. They were deep balls that put them within the 20. But Bruce Arians, dude, please, you're up 18. What are you throwing the ball down for the Mike Evans for? Run the ball. Tom, you got to tell him. Bruce Arians, every quarterback that he has, they have their career most interceptions that year with him. Relax. If you're in the lead, drag routes underneath, run the ball, do some reverses, do some trick plays. Don't be stupid. There's no reason to be stupid. With that being said, Gavin, next game, of course, big one. Chiefs and Bills, which people thought the Bills had a chance. We didn't. We knew that. Not much of a surprise. The Hunt family getting the Lamar Hunt Trophy 2 years in a row, hosting it 3 years in a row. Chiefs continue to be dominant, ran it back perfectly. Defense looks good, better than good. They're good enough to win a Super Bowl again. I like their odds. We'll get to it next week. Again, this week, of course, is the Pro Bowl, kind of. But the Chiefs able to pull off a big win yesterday. Mahomes did not miss a beat. Tyreek Hill continues to look great. Travis Kelce continues to look great. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it in a minute, but Eric Bieniemy continuing to have a good influence on that offense. Andy Reid calling really good plays for them.
I think, actually, Zach, let me cut you right there for a second. I think Eric called all those plays yesterday.
He looked like he was reading a playbook and talk. I don't know how much of the influence he has, but the bottom line is you're developing a great offense. You have great experience. Is a top 2 candidate, according to inside sources with the Texans. We'll figure out all that as it comes out.
Yeah, I got some later.
We'll count on that in a minute. But look, the Bills, y'all got a bright future. It's just so tough when you're stuck with a dynasty. The Chiefs spent 8 years running into the Manning and Brady every year, whether you run into the Broncos or the Colts or the Patriots they ran into, even the Titans one year. But Mahomes been there. They ran into the Patriots once. They go down. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. They're looking like they're probably going to win it again this year. I don't know. The Chiefs, speed, maturity, and talent. Great coaching. That's how you get it done. If you're a Kansas City fan, I feel very optimistic going into this game. The Buccaneers weren't on your level. When you played last time, the score was a little bit inflated because there were 2 late touchdowns by the Bucs. It really was a blowout.
We know it was, yeah.
For who watched the game. The Bucs couldn't compete early in the year. I don't know what switch turned on. But they look like a really good team right now, and that's why I picked them to win. With that being said, Eagles news, they got a new offensive coordinator, the OC from the Chargers.
Whoa. The Chargers?
They got the Chargers OC. The secondaries coach from the Colts is now the defensive backs, is this defensive coordinator and assistant head coach. Deuce Staley is joining the Detroit Lions as their assistant head coach and running backs coach, which is the same position he had in Philly. However, he probably feels he's more likely to get promoted and get a better job there within the next few years.
Good for him.
Good for him. I mean, great for him. Look, there's a lot of stuff to digest. Look, this has been a busy sports weekend. When you're reporting on all the sports, that's why we're the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. We still have to take time to digest a lot of the information. I like the moves I've seen so far on paper, but I also like the Al Horford move on paper, so we have to see what happens. And Carson Wentz needs to be fixed. If he's not fixed, you set your team back 4 years because that's how much time you're going to have that dead cap hit and time to recover, whether Jalen Hurts is your QB or not. So you got to fix Carson Wentz. We know that. But Gavin, some other thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I understand why you were hired at the Chargers offensive coordinator. Zach, he wasn't nothing special. They were okay. All he did was get his head coach fired, who had a winning record, ladies and gentlemen. If I may point that out, all right. Anthony Lynn had a winning record and was 2 years removed from a playoffs. But don't get me started on that because you know how I feel about that, Zach. And then you're going to get the quarterback coach. I know nothing about this guy. I really don't. I mean, the secondary coach is nice. All right, that's all I know. Can he run a whole entire defense? I don't know. We're gonna find out, Zach. This Eagles team is pure disgusting. It irritates me how they run, and it doesn't make any sense how Howard Roseman still has a job here after what 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches being fired. I don't get it. At what point do you have to look down your little henchman Jeffrey Lurie and say, you're part of the problem too? It's like I was watching Get Up this morning, and they said the Eagles won't. The Eagles will have a. They'll be good, right? Obviously, going to be good because they still have players there.
They should be. I mean,
but you don't. But they literally, basically, they said you don't know how Howard Rosen is going to act. It's bad when your whole organization rests on one person. One.
I do have to say, though, from what it looks like, Sirianni, We'll figure it out. Nick Sirianni. Nick. We'll call him old Nick because apparently Eagles fans are obsessed with that name. But
yeah, everybody loves
Nick Sirianni apparently has chosen his own staff. That's a good thing because it means they're letting the chains loose. They're letting him choose his own staff. They're not micromanaging him. That's a good step in this process. They need to let him have input in the draft. I don't care what Howard Roseman wants. Oh, well, you know what? Maybe this receiver at TCU looks pretty good. No, Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase are there. You take them. If they're not, I'm sure that defensive coordinator would love to have Micah Parsons here. Yeah. But Carson Wentz needs to be fixed. His mechanics are god-awful. His first thing when he throws, he dips down here. What other quarterback in the league does that? This is his throwing motion. He goes down, up, and then throws. You wonder why he gets fumbled a lot. I mean, that's why. It should be the quick motion. I'm not even a quarterback, and I know that. They got to fix him. That's my thing. My thing is this. I'll let you go, Gavin. My thing is this. You got to fix Carson Wentz. There's no question about it. And I feel bad. I feel so bad for Jalen Hurts, dude. I love Jalen Hurts. I love his story. I love his pose. I love his confidence. But Carson Wentz is expensive. You got to fix him.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, with that form right there, let me see that form again. Let me see.
Watch him in practice. He dips his arm down, comes up, and then throws. Philip Rivers is like this, and it works.
Well, first of all, Philip Rivers and Tom Brady. Did you see Tom Brady throw the ball? He's like this, all right? It takes him and Phil Rivers. They barely got anymore.
It works. It works. Carson Wentz it's wildly inaccurate. I can tell from watching film. I don't know what the hell the coaches were doing all season. I would just tell them, shorten it. I'll bench you so you can shorten it. It's that simple. But I think I'm about to sign Zach to a 5-year, $1 billion deal because apparently that's what Howard Rosen did. We're stuck with this guy. Zach, I love Jalen Hurts. You know I did, Zach. I had the hat on early in the year. I thought this was going to be it, but clearly it wasn't. I just hope you don't waste this young man's time. That's all I ask for. I don't know what you do.
If you don't want him, move him. Don't waste him. Don't ruin it for somebody else.
Because he looked good. He looked like listen, he averaged the same amount of turnovers as Carson Wentz. He averaged the same amount of sacks taken. But the difference is one's a rookie and one's a 5-year pro. I like Jalen Hurts. I think good systems for him would be even Carolina with their run offense could back up Lamar in Baltimore. I don't know if that'd be a little bit of a contested thing. Go to Pittsburgh, but again, Dwayne Haskins signed there, which we have not had a chance to cover yet. Indianapolis possibly with the good protection there, but
I'll be going.
I don't know. Look, a team that could handle a mobile quarterback. Jalen Hurts, he's a maybe Seattle if Russell Wilson's going to want to opt out at some point, which wouldn't shock me.
You go to the Rams.
He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback that can run, which means that he wants to throw the ball. And I didn't think that was true. But watching that Saints game, he ran a lot, and I'm like, all right, this is just another guy who wants to run. And then I watched against Arizona, and I watched against Dallas. He wanted to throw the ball instead of run. He used his legs correctly. Carson's got to get back to that. Look, Carson Wentz is going to need to be fixed. That's the only way this team's going to be successful, or we're going to spend 4 or 5 years in cap hell. That's just the reality of the situation.
Zach, I know we got to go pretty soon, but I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Hurts beats him for the job and Howard Rosen puts a stop to it.
This is why I feel so bad for him. You put him in such a tough situation where he can't win. And we've all, I think we've all been in situations where no matter how hard you work, you can't win for whatever factor it may be. In this situation, he had an MVP season. He carried the team to the playoffs 2 years ago. And he's got 100 and some million on the cap. I'll be honest. That's the issue. If it wasn't for that, he'd be on the move. Again, it's only one bad year, so you tell me whatever. But I feel so bad for Jalen Hurts. He doesn't deserve this. If Carson beats him out for the job, you're sending Hurts out of town. Sorry to say it. I love Jalen Hurts. I'll buy his jersey wherever he goes, unless it's the Cowboys or Giants or football team. But, I mean, I feel bad. It's a tricky situation. I hope you enjoyed your QB factory, Howard, because it didn't work out so well.
If I were going to say what I was about to say, because Zach, if it came from my mouth, we would have got canceled. All right, our parents would have shut this show down. All right, we would have got canceled on the spot. But I hope your QB factory. Yeah, how do you like it? And by the way, genius. There's a guy. What's his name? Oh yeah, Justin Jefferson, going to the Pro Bowl, or I guess it's a Pro Bowl. I don't know what the hell is going on. But Zach, what's Rager doing? We're just chilling, right? Yeah.
I don't know what to say anymore at this point. With all that being said, Sixers play the Pistons tonight. I expect a win. While it could be close, they are well rested. Again, Embiid continues playing at MVP levels. Ben Simmons, let's average 18 tonight, man. You're looking good right now. He's really dominant. The way he finishes inside reminds me of when he was a couple years ago. I think he's gotten really passive, but I think someone told him you got to turn it up. If he keeps doing that, I like where he's going. Gavin, I know we do have a few other things we do want to cover. Unfortunately, we didn't get that much time today to do it. Again, tomorrow, Kobe Bryant tribute, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to a good week of the show. Let's see if we can get some hours in it as well. I know that we want to see if we can get a few in because we do have a lot of sports and other things to continue to go over. With that being said, Gavin, anything else you did want to say before we wrap up today's show?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Friday, Zach, it was Friday when the report came out. Josh McCown getting an interview for the head coaching job at the Texans. I don't got a lot to say. Well, obviously we have to go, but I do have a lot to say. I'll save it for Wednesday, not tomorrow. Zach, if Josh McCown gets this job, the NFL needs to have a discussion about who the hell gets interviewed for these coaching positions that don't have any coaching experience to some point. Oh, and by the way, Eric Bieniemy, I support you 100%. I don't want you to get that Texans job. I really don't want you to. I hope you don't get it. And you know why, Zach, I say this? Because why would you get a job that's going to obviously set this man up to fail? And then what's going to happen? He's going to fail. They're going to get fired. And everybody's going to say, we told you he couldn't coach. No, idiot. He didn't get a fair chance. Zach, if I'm Bieniemy, I'll save myself for next year. I'll take something that's better, that is a better spot, and I'll go from there. That's all I got to say. I'll spend on that on Wednesday.
Yeah, you could see Dallas open up next year. It's a hot take. Philly could open up again next year. I doubt New York would open up. Tennessee's not. Baltimore could. Stay tuned for that. There are some teams. Like, look, it's the NFL. Teams can go up or down very quickly in this league. If I'm Bieniemy, look, I'm ticked off that I haven't gotten a head coaching job.
Sounds like great spirits.
There's different reasons that we've discussed about it. One of the major ones that people are claiming is that look, he's still in the playoffs. It's hard to interview. I want to research that because I know Josh McDaniels apparently had the head coaching job and he was already in the Super Bowl. I'm not sure. I think that obviously we've been discussing a lot about equality and keeping support across the league. We're down to two, 3 minority coaches right now. Of course, it's not the only factor. I'm sure you can agree with me on this, Gavin. You're not going to look at someone and say, look, you're a certain race, so we're going to make you our head coach. That's the only reason for it. The NFL's done
qualified.
They wouldn't be qualified. So like, you have the Rooney Rule, which requires you to interview at least one minority coach, and there's more and more incentives, as we have discussed this summer. This pandemic has allowed us to shed the light on what's been going on, and we're making progress. And I think this is one of those situations where it's going to be tricky to sit here and say it's purely race related or it's purely experience related. I don't know. Look, I'm not a master on this. We can call it as it is. We see what's going on. I'm not going to twist words. I'm not going to make up things that aren't true. If I'm Bieniemy, I'm about to get another ring, so I'm kind of happy. But, I mean, you want to be a head coach, and I want to hear the reasoning from a lot of these owners. I'm curious because they're going with a lot of younger guys, but Bieniemy's a younger guy. I'm not sure why he hasn't gotten the job. I think Todd Bowles does get a head coaching job next offseason. I think that there's a sense of urgency to get started, and when you're that good at your job and you're later in the season, it's less common to pick up a job again. McDaniels apparently, or had the job at one point and then dropped it, of course, with the Colts. Patricia with the Lions, like they said it on the Super Bowl.
And he went back.
And went back to New England. Like they said that day, like, oh, here's Matt Patricia, who's going to be with the Lions. I'm curious if the pandemic played a fact that they can't see him in person or whatever. I don't know, but we'll continue to discuss it because the dialogue is vital. Gavin, anything else before we go?
Yeah, real quick, Zach. My opinion on the Rooney Rule. That's sad that you have to have a rule. You get what I'm trying to say. Zach. It's sad that you have a rule that in place for you to interview minority coaches for either your coaching position or your GM position. Look at the NBA, Zach. They don't have as I know of. Anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. They don't have a rule like that. They just do it. Zach. I'm gonna look up a stat. I'm gonna bring it on the show. And I'm gonna bring it into our class, and I'm gonna share it from the 1990s or from the we'll go to the early 2000s. How many minority coaches been in the NFL and how many have been in the NBA? And I guarantee you, the NBA is gonna blow them out the water. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case till Wednesday on that. Kobe Bryant tomorrow. I got something for everybody, so I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow.
It's going to be fun. Look, I've said this before. I think we can agree. I mean, the NFL, NBA, a lot of professional sports since the color barrier has been broken has given opportunity to lots of people from all different backgrounds. From guys like Jimmy Butler to guys who have grown up in wealthier environments. You look at the Ball family who've grown up having a pretty good life under the spotlight. They've been able to go to the NBA as well. Look, it's all about equality. It's all about making sure you don't just hire someone because of a certain race. You hire them based off of their qualifications, but it has to go across all the barriers, and that's important. We're going to continue to emphasize the opportunity that they present, and we're also going to present the facts, have the open discussion, because that is how we make progress.
I just never seen someone so qualified not get anything. Zach, I don't like it. It's like if there was someone more qualified, to be a third person on the show that knew his stuff, that brought energy, that brought all this, and we would bring him on regardless of what it is, because he's qualified to do what we do. Zach, Eric Bieniemy is qualified to be a head coach. Do I know he's going to win a couple games? Of course he's going to win games. He has a nice system. But Zach, it's fair. What's not fair is for guys like Adam Gase, for guys like Nick, whatever the hell his last name is, Zach, to get a head coaching job. It's like I get it. You young, fresh-minded, Zach. That's my thinking. But come on now, enough's enough. I never seen a man so qualified. If he wins another Super Bowl, don't leave. Win another one. Win 3. So when the next time you go, I'm like, look, man, I'm top 5 in every offensive category you can think of. 2 Super Bowls, well, 1 and another one on the way. And Patrick freaking Mahomes is backing me up. I don't know what else you want. I really don't know what else. Same thing with Deuce Staley. A lot of guys want Deuce to be head coach. I know, Zach, we going back and forth on that. Good for Deuce. I miss him too, as his comment says. But Zach, all in all, NFL is just horrible. This is a horrible company, horrible everything. The owners are the worst. I've got much to say.
I mean, look, it's all tricky situations, but some things get so crystal clear you can't ignore them. And I can't really sit here and say the NFL as the organization can do better, because I'm not sure what more they can do. It's about changing the culture, being more accepting, being more just across the board, and that's what's important. I think our generation is going to prove any prejudice from the last 100+ years in this country wrong. I think our generation is the one to prove it. Another fun fact tonight, I forget what NBA game it is, but both female officials are going to be doing it. Look, we're not going to sit here and just point out things like, oh, look, they did it because they're a woman or they did it because they're black. I'm not about that. But I'm not going to say it pisses me off because I don't necessarily have that firsthand experience outside of minor anti-Semitism. But in this country, look, it's been like people have had tough in the past, even present day. But the fact that we keep seeing like people are like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of this stuff. We don't bring politics up on the show. We only talk about real world issues. Big difference. Trust me.
Talk about the truth.
I just like to talk about opportunity. Like, this is great. Like after the Jacob Blake incident and the NBA boycotts, I'm not just going to sit here and say, oh my God, like how horrible. Like we all know that the media is doing their part to inform us. Let's talk about the opportunity that we can do. And I hope even if just one person watching this show is inspired by this to work themselves, you can become as good as you want to be. I truly believe that. Some people have to work harder based on certain situations, say wherever you're born, whatever. A lot of other factors go into it. I'm confident that if there's one thing that we've been able to do on the show, Gavin, we're able to spread the message that you are one person that can make a difference. Look, if one person came up with the idea for Apple, everyone's using it now. It goes in every way. Fubu, Damon John, who grew up with nothing, created a clothing company, is on Shark Tank. All these great things. Mark Cuban, we know how much of an impact he's had. And that's my central message. And tomorrow when we get into Kobe Bryant, growing up as a kid in Philadelphia, right outside of Philly, similar to us. I mean, he's had his life experiences and what his thoughts are on motivation and a few other things. That's what we talk about on the show, and that's why I'm so happy to be here. It's been a great 7 months or so, 7-8 months, and I look forward to continuing with it. It's been great. With that being said, Gavin, anything else you wanted to say?
Well said. I can't say anything different that you didn't say, because I'm gonna reiterate the same thing. You wake up with an opportunity to do something. It's what you make it. If you want to sit on your ass all day, excuse my language. if you want to sit on your behind all day and not do nothing, that's your choice. That's your choice. No one's gonna, no one can't motivate you to do something. You gotta do it. You gotta win for yourself. You gotta win for yourself. And Zach, we wanted to do a talk show. We didn't. No one else said we shouldn't do it. So a teacher made a comment. We laughed it off, but then we thought about it and said, let's do it. 7 months, 7, 8 months, 100 so many episodes in. Zach, I forget the number, but and determination to offer yourself. And my last thing before we really gotta go, because I know we got we keep saying it, but I know we really gotta go. We're gonna get into Hank Aaron a little bit more, Zach. I know that was breaking news for us on Friday, so we're gonna get a day in. We're gonna talk about Hank Aaron because
I did find a Hank Aaron card. It's locked right now. I got to find the key. I guess no one trusts me with the nice cards, but I did find a Mickey Mantle and Hank Aaron card. I do want to get it out. Look, great life by him. Of course, Kobe Bryant as well. We'll get into it tomorrow. Please stay tuned for it. And yes, this time I mean it, unless Gavin has anything else to say. Thank you again, everybody, for watching us today. Talk show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good one,
everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of our videos. Again, thanks for watching.